Showtime! Let's do a show. Make sure this audio is not too loud for me. There we go. Synthwave YouTube Fridays. Hi. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of You Can't Do That on Salesforce, where we will indeed do things on Salesforce. We will do Speerdecks on Salesforce, and it will be good. Pick up from last week. We were building. What were we building? We were building list views. Dynamic list views. Where did we end up? Somewhere great. Somewhere very productive. Let's see. Let's open up our site. There it comes. So we were looking at the session detail page. Boop, boop, boop. Here it comes. Uh-oh. Router level error. All right. Well, meeting title. We'll figure that out. Let's see. Session detail page. We've got ourselves some drop zone file upload, and we need to show the files that have been uploaded. That's where we were. And we had a couple things going on over here. Trying to be a little generic, not too generic. We got this related records component whose purpose in life is to query out. We had to write a little Apex. Sorry, folks. Query out dynamically some related records. You can write the Apex or write the query yourself, or a little bit of the query. I think we exposed some properties here. Yep, we exposed them here. We exposed them on the component itself. So this will be the starting point for what we want to tell the related records list to show. We want to tell it how to show it. So I got really excited last week about dynamic LWCs, and you know what? They're dynamish. They're not dynamic because this is how we import LWCs in from another LWC. So unfortunately, this has to be hard-coded right now. You can't dynamically reference this, which is too bad. Someday, maybe, we'll be able to, what I wanted to do was make this a variable that you could specify in the configuration of the component in the builder. And then it would dynamically render whatever you tell it. We're not going to be that lucky, so I think we're going to end up with some kind of switch statement, slam a bunch of different components in here and go with it that way until the platform changes. So sad trombone, but we have a way around it. So what are we doing right now? We are rendering something dynamic. We're rendering a component dynamically here. And it just so happens to be this file card thing. Then I was looking and thinking, well, maybe we could do... I wanted to sort of see another example, right? So what would we have to pass in to like a tile? And this is not SLDS-ified yet. This was just me kind of thinking about, all right, if we ended up in a future where, well, let's just do it now, right? I might have handful of these, right? So this could be C. There's tile. Oop, that's not tile. This is tile. C/tile, C/file card, file card, and we're gonna have a switch statement in here, which I can't remember the syntax of, so I'm gonna go ask. Switch thing. Okay. It's our render as. Oh wait. Okay, wait. Render as is changing. Render component. Sorry, render as is telling us if we're going to do a grid or maybe a list. So kind of have again a little bit more configurability around the output of this. So let's switch on render component, and then very little redundant here. Case oranges. Not oranges. Case tile, do tile. Right. Case file card. I don't know if it's going to be file card. We may not use this in the long run. It might just be card. I might have a tile and a card. Is there a difference? I'm not sure, but we'll go with it. And then let's see. Do I have to? I wonder if I need to pull this. Do I need to pull that variable up somehow? Const default, ctor, wait. I'm pretending I know what this means. I might need this. I might need, since we're going to take this constructor and set it here, then we need to make sure we get that value back and we're not stuck in like case statements here. Or I guess, you know, we could just pull this. Let's just pull it underneath each of these. That. Do you need parens between your cases? No, we can have multiple lines. Okay, cool. So that should work. Already been declared? Ooh. Well, let's see. Has it really already been declared? Oh, wait. We close our switch statement here. Do we need an else? Do you have to have an else? Default. We'll just write to the... Whew. We'll just type it correctly. And we'll just log something. No valid component. Sound like a caveman, but that's okay. Doop. CTOR has already been declared. Okay. So we have to... Can I just pull this up? How about I just do this? Well, actually, can we just do this? No, because it has to be... Oh, we need a key in our loop in our related records. I thought I provided that, but I guess not. Well, records is dynamic, so I think we're always going to have a key or an ID. So we use a record ID or whatever we're rendering. Okay. Okay, so hypothetically that should let us reference semi-dynamically our components. If that doesn't work, I'm just going to yank out the file card and we're going to work with the tile. So what does a tile comprise of? It's title, subtitle, link, image, values. So I wish we could just define a repeater in our when I want to repeat over something. I'm kind of replicating repeater here. I'll pull out a grid. And then what to repeat on is where it's kind of a sticky point, because I don't want to use a... can I use a record list? Is this new? Let's see. I think this is just going to be a list view, right? Yeah, this is just a list view. Order list is not real. Subscriptions we don't have. Yeah, that's not what we want. CMS collection we're not using. Einstein recommendations. It's very producty also. So this if I want to just get the files that are related to this record, I don't have a great way to do that. So we're going to use related records to make that happen. Let's get rid of this. If I could just pick here, like, I don't know. Here's what I wish I could do. I wish I could say record list and then pass in like a filter, right? So I want to pass in, I'd make a list view, you know, I'd be happy to make a list view of files for sessions and then have it, you know, return. But the problem is I get a record list. There's no filtering that I can do on that, unless that's changed. Let's just make sure that hasn't changed. Record list, all. So you see, this is it. These are the options we get. So we really are replicating the grid, you know, with our related records. And I guess I could just call it repeater if I wanted to make it even more dynamic or generics. Maybe we'll get there later. But for now, I'm going to pull this off of here. And let me refresh this just to make sure we got the latest componentry. Oops. Oh, I wish you could. I wish when you refresh it, just brought you back to the same page. Alas. Oops. Okay, yeah, that whole CTOR thing is probably going to be a problem for me. I'm referencing that wrong. Let's just, I'm just going to roll it back to the tile. Let's just roll it back to the tile card. Yeah, I got to figure out this syntax here, so we won't get lost in the sauce on that for right now. This comes up here. Comment this out. Okay. Okay. Now let's see if that works now. If I get no errors. Okay, that looks better. Let's take our related records component. Let's bring it out here. Okay, so now I've got some properties that I can fill out. So I want the related files of the session. So my related object type is going to be file. The parent record ID for these files is the session ID that we, or the record that we're looking at here. So I can use the record ID merge value for this. The parent lookup field is saying, well, what field, what field on this object is the parent that we're going to filter with the record ID? And that is called, let's see on the file, it's called linked entity ID. Okay. Fields, what fields do we want to bring back? I think I was doing some, was I? Or are we going to have to bring that object up again? We might have to bring that object up again. Yeah. Let's take a look at the object, because there's some fields we want to display here. Salesforce. I'm sorry, it's actually not file. My fault. This is. What are we pulling back? We're going to pull back. We're going to pull back actually content document links. Yeah. Because you can have a file, which is a content document, a version of the file, which is a content version, and then the content document link actually says this file is related to this record. So that's what we want to use here. Now the fields that we want to pull are a little different, a little funky. All right, and we have to do some parent references here. Let's just write these fields. Over here somewhere. So we want to end up with select stuff from content document link. So you can see our values where linked entity ID equals, entity, yeah, ID equals something. So how does this all map back? We're gonna fill these out. So we gave it the object is here, and in the SOQL call, the object is here. The value is here, and in the SOQL call, it's gonna be this. And then the parent lookup field, it's a linked entity ID. So now this field's value that we're gonna fill out are the fields that we want to return. So what shall we return? It's an interesting relationship model with the content document link, but we can get here from there. It knows about the document, so we're going to want something related to the document. It's probably going to be a relationship traversal, so we're going to not use the ID, we're going to use content document. We're going to go up here and look at what fields can I now get from the content document. I'm going to get a title. Title. And what else can we get? We want the latest published version, I think. That is the content version object, so we're going to need to grab some stuff off of that. Let's grab the file type too, I guess. So we need some more here. Come back to that. File type. All right, let's jump over to content version. What can we pull off of this? Content URL. Put that up here. Let's see. File extension? Sure, that sounds good. Now, actually, that I think about it, hold the phone. We've got our testing page out here in Speerdecks. It might already be configured. Here. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. I have this page. Okay, I did not put it out here. That's fine. We'll just finish configuring it over in here. Okay, where were we? Latest published version, file extension. I'm going to grab latest published version, file type. See what the difference is there. And then with content URL. I think that's good. I think that's probably all we want. Grab the title from here too. Version data URL. That is to fetch the file from binary data. What's the difference here? Version data URL versus content URL. these actually need to traverse through the content document. Okay, file extension, file type. Version data. Fetch a file from the binary data endpoint, only populated on direct queries, content version, and not when queried through a related foreign key entity. Well, that's a bummer. I feel like I did get that back, though. Let's see. In content URL, on the other hand, oh, this is only for links. Yeah, never mind. We don't want that. Okay, so let's be consistent with our how we query out all this stuff. All right, I'm gonna grab version data URL, even though it sounds like it's not gonna give it back to me. We'll find out. All right, so these are the fields that we're gonna bring back. We have two, oh, you know what, we have two related record components out here, I think. Yeah. Let's take, well, we can just take one of these off. Okay, so what are we gonna bring back? These values, and then we can give each one a label. So I'm just going to bring back file type. Let's not make this too crazy. So file type, title, link. So we can say file type, title, link. Okay. Now, actually, what we could do, because our tile is expecting certain things here, what if we... Let's hold on that. Let's just see if we can get something back out of this thing. Okay, that is configured. Now, will this work in preview? No, we have to publish it, which is why we want to probably put this out on our testing page. I'm gonna do the same thing. Oh wait, we do have some out here. Hold on. Do we? Oh, maybe not. Is that just the... Nope, there's our related records. Okay, so... You know, we do have that out here, so let's do... I may have just broken it. Very possible. Volume very low. Hang on. We'll fix. Maybe. Let me know if that's better. Earlier versions of or earlier episodes are out on YouTube somewhere. Here it is. Oh, they're in the live section. I would like to copy and paste, but I can't. What's going on here? Weird. There we go. Yeah, they're all, I record on Twitch, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And the YouTube's where they all get saved, too. All right. Why did we break? How is this broken? Alright. We're going to debug this thing, try to figure out what's blowing up. Connected. Let's go here. Well, we're not even hitting our we're not even hitting our debugger here. So what is getting anything in here? These are all the typical. Oh, invalid key. For item number 0, set a unique key on all iterated child elements. Okay. I would love to do that if I could see the data that's coming back. Would love to. Let's see. What do we loop? Are we looping over anything else here? This is our for each. That's our key. Is it because our tile doesn't actually have anything rendering? It's probably part of the issue. I'm just going to put something in the tile page that actually renders something out for us. I see. I bet this is the key that it's having issue with. What's our value going to be here? Let's see if we can get away with that. Okay, is this the wrong component to debug? I always love trying to figure out, hey, don't debug that file, debug this file. Try here. There we go. Okay, let's see, what are our settings here? Our query request has all of our stuff in it. We'll see where we're landing with our errors here. Okay, so we got a result back. It's an empty array though. So do we get inside of our call here? I don't know what's happening there. Okay, so actually we did have files come through. Let's log stringify. Okay. What's going on? That's why we're not getting a... I think we're not getting a key because we're not getting any values back, but we seem to be getting values back, so what is the deal? Let's just debug query response, see what that... Okay. So here's what we're getting back. One, two, three, four, five. That makes sense. Look at our code again here. I don't know what I was doing here. I don't think we need that anymore. So our this.records should now, that should be what we were populating there. Oh wait, this dot. Hmm? Underscore. I forgot I'm living in the rendered world here, so there we go. Okay, so we have a, ooh. Do we have a, I see. You see the structure here? It comes back. Each of these has... Oh no, that does make sense. Each of them, we created a record property which has the values, and then we're passing the fields and the labels separately. So, oh my gosh, it's Jess Haupt. How's it going, man? Tom Petros, yes, that was me. Okay, so we do have records. We just are not referencing them correctly. Let's go. Well, let's save that change. And let's go back up here. So this is actually record.record, just to keep it weird. And that's record.record.record.record. All right, we don't need this here anymore, right? We need it up above. And I think we're going to do this. So the spread takes one. This is another reason we had to do this. So the spread takes one. You can only put one object in here. It's good to see you, man. See, maybe I'll run into you in Corning sometime. So our spread is going to pass ideally to our tile here. And what we need to provide it these different values. So we're not going to worry about that too much. We just want to get the darn thing to render right now. We just want to show hello. I don't know if it's going to yell at me. Well, it's not going to... Here, let's put hello up there. We're going to do all the variable assignment here in a second. It's going to be awesome, I promise. Oh, we don't need that anymore. Okay, so hopefully this fixes our key issue. Oh, Charlotte. All right. Coming to Charlotte. There we go. Hello, 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 hello. All right, good. So we're in business. We're dynamically referencing our tile component, and we are... Not file card. This was our file card. I'm just going to save this. I'm going to close these out. We're not doing anything with them. Okay. So the question now is, how do we get from these... how do we get from the data, right, that we're returning to what the tile is expecting, which is these values here. So these are basically the, going back to our fields over here, I think the way we can do this, which would be clever. Yeah, we don't want to debug you right now. Okay. Error processing, fun. I think if we were to say, the labels here will be, see, ID, title, what do we have in there? Type, right? Do we give file type? Oh, we don't need content URL here. Title, link, render as grid. Okay, so what's going to happen now is it's going to look at the fields and the sequence that the fields are provided here. And I'm going to take out the spaces here so we don't have to monkey around with trimming the white space off of these. So it'll map, we're going to map now the labels here to the fields that we get back. So then when we pass this over to tile, we're going to have these properties in place. We're going to at least have title and link. I don't know if we're going to have image, and we won't have any custom values. That'll be something we'll have to think about later, but cooking up some stuff for that. So let's see. How do we do that now from related records? So we get our data back here. We are passing the fields and the labels in. The question is who's responsible, what object is responsible for merging these. I think it's up at the tile because we're providing it the fields in the sequence we want and the labels in the sequence that we want. We can provide it useless labels. They won't care. So when this receives its, let's see, it's going to spread those values. So I think we can want to do this in connected callback. Oh, actually, what else do we need to provide here? So what we're going to provide is not this stuff, right? These are going to be internal properties. I'm going to leave those as API though, because I got an idea. We do want the record. We want the record coming in here, and that is passed. We want the record and the fields and the labels. The rest of these we're going to deal with in a second, but so this is going to come in, and actually if we let's see, if we do no, I want to do it down here because I want to make sure I've got all these values come in. So the spread that's going to happen here, each record that we're going to pass in is actually going to look like this. It's going to have a record of fields and labels. These are going to map to these. But we have to pass in an entire object. But what spread is going to do is say, hey, it's cool that you're passing me this record thing, which is what we're creating here. Each of these is the record object that has a record property inside of it that is the actual record data that we want. But a spread takes the properties, excuse me, takes the properties of an object and then spreads them out, as the name implies, onto the receiving component. So we want to receive each of these properties over here, because that's what we're actually going to end up with. That's the theory. Let's see how we do. Let's log each of these. Connected callback, I think, is the right spot to do this. We want to make sure we have all the values, and then we're going to distribute them through these other properties that we have here. Oh, labels. Yeah, I think this is going to work out nicely. I think. If this works. We should get a bunch of console stuff back when this runs. All right, so we say we're updated that. ID is not a field we have on our tile right now, and that's okay. We might need it later, but for now, we're not going to get actual values back yet. We're getting a bunch of other stuff back, hopefully. Here we go. Okay, good. So we got the object, the record. We got our list of fields here, and then we got these values back. Now, something I want to take a look at. I want to let's stringify our, because I think we're going to have a little bit of traversal to do on the records. So I think it's going to try to be helpful and create relationships for us, child objects or related objects that are in the properties. Yep. And then latest published version. So, okay, so this gets a little bit more more fun. If a field is returned and it has dots in it, we need to traverse the dots until we find the right relationship. So I suspect we're going to need some kind of traverse function out here. We're going to need to pass in the object, and we're going to pass in a field for that. And this is going to, this is something we're going to come back to in a minute. Let's do some easy mode work here. So the API, or the ID field, right? We're going to, we are going to, oh boy, I've forgotten my syntax for that. LWC API getter setter. Yep, this is what we want to do. I don't know if do we even need to API that? I don't know if we do. I just want to get it locally. I don't need it to be accessible anywhere else. You cool with that? Yes, okay. So what does the ID return? Well, it's going to return our field, our record objects, in the field called ID. That one's easy enough. So what we have to do though is map, yeah, this is a little bit more complicated than that. We want to get, let's see, we're gonna create one called get value, and it's gonna be the label. Right, so this is actually going to call this dot get value of the. What I'm saying here is I'm giving you the label ID because that's what I want to display, and you code need to go find in the sequence of fields and labels the corresponding value. So if we pass in label here, we're going to try to, first we're going to look and see if record, this dot record dot, can we test to see if, let's see, JavaScript, we want to see, does an object have a property? Yep, okay, so if it has this property, if the, come on back. If this has the property that we're passing in, so we're passing in ID. Does it have a property of ID? Actually, wait, we don't want that. We want to find the, we want to get field by value, or by label. Yep. So we're going to need that as well. Okay, so to get field by label, we're going to create two, that field array, fields array, equal this dot fields dot split on that comma that we put in there, and then we're going to let the labels array, same thing, only labels, split labels dot split on that array as well. So now we have two indexes, right? So now we want to find where the label is, what index is it. So let's see, JavaScript get array value index. Yep, so we're just gonna do an index of, let label index equal, so this is going to tell us what, where in our array is the label index, and then we're going to return, we're going to be very optimistic here, and we're going to return the corresponding field from the, based on that index. So if fields has 4 values, boom, 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 and labels has 4 values, boom, 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 and ID is the first one. So ID label equals ID field. For us, title label is content document dot last published version dot title. A little harder to get back, but we're going to get there. So this actually might be a little bit more wonky than just what I just described, because our, well, no, that doesn't really matter. We're just getting the field by string, not the field by value right now. Okay, so to get that value, first let's get, let's see, let field name equal, I'm going to say get field name by label. Okay, so if now, all this, if the record, which contains the values, has a property that is the field name, ID in this case, then we're going to return that. If not, then we have to traverse, right? So now we're going to, let's see, how do we traverse? Let's use our content document, or I'm sorry, our content document latest published version. Look at our data here a second. So I want to traverse content document. So I'm going to have that field name here. One of them is going to be, let's think about what we've got. So this, we're going to have something like this dot record dot content document dot title, right? Equals whatever. That's what we want for our title. So if I'm now going to pass in title, let's do the same thing here. Okay, so we're going to pass, we want title. So title's going to come in to here. We're going to go get the title field name, which is this content document.title. When we check to see if that has a property, I think we're going to be let down because it doesn't it doesn't exist. Let's see, is there any other way to we could do this. This might be because saying this is the same as saying right? Those both mean the same thing. One's just array notation versus object notation. So this is what we really need to do, is take the value here and start to split it so that we can traverse through our start traversing through our values. So let's try this. We're going to traverse this dot record, and we're going to traverse field label. So we're going to split this on field split. We're going to split our field name on the dot. If field split dot length is 1, we're at the last point of a split, and we should be able to return obj field. Should. This is going to be recursive. If we're not at the end of our path here, then we're going to traverse with the parent thing. Right? So we're going to traverse obj field. And now we want everything from field split except the first element. All right, so we're going to shift that. But we also need to join it back with the dots because when we come back into traverse, we're going to do that split again. So we'll say we want field split dot splice, or shift. Sorry, that takes the first one off of our list. Dot join back on the dot. Okay. So we're traversing here. Oops, we're traversing. We come in with content document. So we're going to pass in. We're going to pass in the whole record at the top here, and then pass in the field name, not the field label. Now we also need to make sure that we're still trying to get to the label value that we actually care about. So we're going to send that in as well. Oh wait, no, we don't need to do that. We're just, when we traverse, we know where we're headed because this is the label. We just need it to go find the value for us down through the path. Is that right? Yes, because the title has it built in. Or, I'm sorry, the field name has it built in. Okay. Yeah, this should work first try, no problem. This should handle title. And we'll see. I'm going to put this up above the if because actually, you know what, let's get ID out here because we'll know something's working at that point, and we'll see if we actually get a title back. This will be some interesting debugging. Oh, okay, we might need to, I don't know if I can do that all in one statement. Field split equals field split. Does shift return, does it return the thing that you removed? It I'm sorry, it changes the array. Okay, so it changes the original array. So we just want to call field split.shift. But if I set the value to something, it's going to return the return that value, which is not what we want. We want the array split, and then we want to join. Am I joining right? Yeah. Okay, that should maybe be happier now. No, okay, still don't like title. That's fine. Let the debugging begin. Excuse me. Let's go into our tile here. All right, we'll put the brakes on both of those, see how we do. Does this .record have own property? True. Return. Ding. Okay, there's our ID value. Happy. Title. This is probably where we're going to be sad. Okay. Get field by name. Content document.title. Does it have this property? No. So we're moving on. We're going to traverse with the record and this content document.title stuff. So let's go into traverse. Okay. We're going to split on the dot. Content document and title. All right. Is the split greater or equal 1? Nope. Oh, we don't want to... Okay, I see it. We want to... We actually do want to grab the first... let first element equal field.split. So we want to take first element and traverse with it here. And we probably should test that, right? If it's the same thing as up here. And we'll show an error here. Console.log property does not exist in object. And then we'll, let's output the stringified version of OBJ. And we need to change this reference here. Okay. Take 2. Take 3. Take whatever. Again. Let's skip over that. Get title value. Go here. Should skip over that. We're passing in the record. We're passing in content document.title. Split those values. It's greater than 1. Pull off the first value, which is content document. Does it have that property? Yes, it does. We're going to traverse again. So we're going to come right back around to this. That's object.first element. Let's make sure that looks like what we expect it to. Oops. Oops. There it is. Okay, so we're traversing with the right object. And what does this look like? Just the title. Okay. So the next time around, we should get a value back. Here we go again. We're going to split, but we're only going to have one value. And we're going to get that. And it's going to be oh, wait. Field is what? Field is title. Let's check object again here, now in this context. Yeah, we're right. Yeah, that's the right value. SI asset 90. It's goofy, but it works. Now we're going to loop through all the other records here. So let's just let this fly. There we go. Okay, real ugly tiles, but now we can pass what we want each field to be interpreted as in the tile itself. So the tile kind of has like, hey, you can pass me these values and I'll show them if I got them. And if I don't, well, then I won't. So now we can build out the rest of our properties here. We don't have all these yet, but we can support a subtitle. We can support a link. We can support an image. Oops. We can support this other thing called values, which I will get back to it someday. Yeah, so those are all there. This is probably something we're going to have to do on lots of objects. So I see some like inheritance happening here at some point. The tile inherits from a something, inherits from a something, inherits from a something. But hey, thing. So let's, what else do we have in there? We just have we have the name. Oh, we can return the, we can make a link out of the content link, right? Let's make a link. Let's take hello out because that's not really important anymore. Technically, neither is the ID. I'm going to keep, whoops, I'm going to keep the ID just for fun, so we know it's still there. The title is rendering, so let's put a, now I have a link component that we can use. So let's try this. So from our tile, I guess the question would be, what do you want to link, right? Well, let's link the title. And what do we want to link? What do we want to pass this? We want to pass it the text, which is going to be the title. We're going to pass it the... So the only type we have right now is the... Oh no, I'm sorry. We make this kind of dynamic, but we have to remember what are the navigation, what are the mix-ins here. Because there's all different flavors of these. Navigate to pages. Page reference types. I think this is what we want. So we want to, our link is actually to, I wonder what it's going to consider this. Just a web page type, maybe? Let's try it. Do we support that one right now? We do not. Because for that, all we actually need is the URL. Well, we could just go to the record. I mean, I'm kind of curious what that will do. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna render the link and see where it takes us before we try to decide what it's gonna look like. Okay. Can't read split. What? I thought we were good. I thought we were friends. Let's see. I'm not sure where that, I think that was happening in Traverse. So let's see, where does this blow up? Content document title. Okay, and then you blow up. Maybe because we're trying to render, what are we rendering next? Do we pass in a link? I think we do. Yep, you're going to blow up as well. I know. Yep, I know. ID title link. So okay, well, let's just go back and watch the debugger a little more closely. Yes, okay. Just, did I lose my debugger? I probably did. Let's watch field.split here. So I have to keep debugging it. So we're coming in with an undefined field, which is kind of weird. So let's go back up to get value then. Put field name in here. So field name is undefined, which is interesting. Okay, so this will blow up again, right? Because we don't have the value. So we should be working here on content document, published version. Oh, we're back to ID though. Why? Oh, did I do it wrong? No, I didn't do it wrong. Index of ID. Is it moving on to the next? That's probably, it's moving on to the next object. Yeah, which is fine. Okay, so image, I gotcha. So we need to do a test up here and make sure that that the value is, we get a value out, because I think it should be, this should be -1, right? I think. Yeah. All right, so we need a test there, because this should be full stop if there's no value that comes back. So if label index -1, then we return null. Otherwise, return that. And then if field name is null, then we're just going to return nothing. No value. Okay. Let's see if we happy now. label index in here too. All right, so we're here on image, right? Step over, label index is -1. Step out of there. Field name is null, return blank. Yeah, I think we're on our way now until something else, or unless something else blows up. There we go. Okay. I don't think we're getting the link though. So I'd still like to traverse that. Yeah. So let's try to get down here where it equals last published version dot stuff because it's a second layer of reference. So maybe we have something going on there. All right, so here we are with content document, right? And maybe this is that scenario where, no, it's right there. So this is definitely the value we're looking for. So I'm going to split this. The length is greater than 1. The first element is content document. Do we have that property? Yes, we do. So then we're going to traverse this with this. That makes sense. We're going to come back in here in a second. All right, so now we're here. And length still greater than 1. First element equals that. Does this object have that value? Yes. So traverse this object with just version data. Okay, we're going again. So split again. The length is 1, but undefined. What's OBJ look like? Oh. Nope, that should be field split 0, right? No? Oh, no, because we could use... That's interesting. OBJ... Well, what's obj.id? Do we get anything back here? Yeah. URL, I see. Okay. Yeah, that matters. So we need to make sure that our whatever we're naming things, whatever we are using for field references, it has to be correct because case sensitive. So this here is just a little off. I don't know why you keep doing that, bro. There we go. All right, so now we've got our URLs coming back. And then what do those do? don't have all of it here, but if I just hit one of these, where do we go? Downloads the file. Okay, so that's cool. All right. Got to take a little break. Got to grab a drink and take a real quick phone call. I'll try to dance as fast as I can and come back. But stay tuned. We shall return. Hey, we're back. Sorry, that was a long break. Had to, gotta eat. Kids gotta eat. Where were we? Oh, you probably saw, I don't know if you saw me off screen. I want to get this, now that this is working, I want to go back to our link component, which is meant to be a wrapper for all things, wow, this is a long page, all things page referencey. So LWCs have this kind of interesting way of getting built to link to something. There's a lot to unpack there, but we're just trying to do this one at the bottom, I think, which is with our download link for our file, for our file. And I think there's probably another link that we need to think about, because this one just downloads the file. I want the one that, and I don't know if this is even available in Experience Cloud, but I want the one that shows the file. So that we may have to actually go into like regular Salesforce and see what those URLs are, so that we can, maybe see if we can mimic it in Experience Cloud. But for now, let's build this out. So this takes the type is the type we're passing in. We're going to pass in on our tile. We're going to pass in the standard web page. The only other parameter we need is one called URL, which I don't have. We don't have a value for. So I would like to. How do you conditionally set properties? So we could do this. We could do the or undefined thing. I guess we'll start there. I wonder if I just set them. Does it even matter? If it doesn't have a value. Let's find out. Okay. We'll see. So type is that, and URL equals link. That should be it. Okay. Did we update this? Oh, what did I miss there? All right, let's see what it does. Oh, did we give it text? That would probably help. Hello? Where are you? I see you, but I don't see you. Oh, because... Oh... Maybe I'll get this right. There we go. Now let's try it again. There we go. Interesting little whodaddery there with the links that the new... Do these work? Yes. Okay, so that's the download. So that's groovy. Now, I guess we could... our other option is to link to the record, and I wonder how that would work. Because I have the... I do have the ID, but this is the ID of the content document link. So I would actually want the content document to be the... And what else is curious, I wonder, is if we do that. So let's try something here. So instead of sending back the content, actually, let's go back one step. Let's take a look at, just look at our files in here. Navigate to one of these. So could we go to the content document record in Experience Builder? Can we create a page for that? Let's see. Content version. Let's try it. Not much there. So that may not be the droids we're looking for. Is that the one it's rendering? It renders a different one, but still not too much. Not too much to that. And then again, we'd need to create these like related. Well, I don't think we want to show all of this to the end users of this app. But can we do? I wish I could do kind of the highlight situation here. Upload new version. That's also something to think about. This is the link that we use to register. Okay, so this is a download. I don't know if there's a way to... The other thing to consider here, too, is we may not be dealing with... what does this do when I click on this link? Doesn't tell me much. Let's see what happens when we click on this. What kind of traffic does it create? Preview provider, modal preview player. Doesn't feel like anything we're going to really have access to. Modal preview player. Let's see, anything interesting in here? No. So maybe there was like a magic link that just did that. Well, here, hold on. Preview URL. Let's see what this thing does. Hello, IKEA boy. Current status, trying to figure out how to hack at Salesforce URLs. Okay, that doesn't work. Let's see what rendition download, what the internet has to say about this. File rendition. A rendition is a binary preview. So it looks like there's a new rendition option here. What else can I throw in there? Try this. Okay. So we can get the... we can tie images to this, I imagine. I wonder if I upload a... what do you call it? If I upload a slide deck, what would happen? I'm gonna go create the world's most useless slide deck and see what happens here. Oh, I have one. Okay. My first speaker deck. Let's download it as a PowerPoint, I guess. And do I have that in here already? Probably want to keep that link I just made. Curious how these are going to work in Experience Cloud 2. We'll go monkey around with that in a second. Let's go to Files again, and we'll upload a PowerPoint, see what happens. So if I click on it, we're getting your preview ready. Hey, there it is. Okay, so now, oops, let's view details. So it looks like we need to make this work. Maybe we need the version ID instead of the, this is the document ID. Can we see it in one of these versions? Nope. 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 All right, we have to do a quick query then, I guess. Unless it shows up over here. No, okay. Well, let's do let's just query that out, I guess. What was that latest published version ID? Nope, that's wrong. Not this. Latest. Okay. We grab this as the latest ID, and then I just realized I may have done this on Uno. I might have a groovy little component over there that does something for this. Because to construct this link will be challenging in our default link component. So we may need to like extend that or just create our own. But let's see here. I don't know what this content ID is at the end. Let's see what that actually does. Okay, so the preview is just really the first page, the first screen. That's okay. I have no idea what that content. I'm going to take this off. Oh, page equals 1. What can we do here? Hold on. Is it because there's only one page? I think so. All right, we'll monkey about with that later. If I take this content ID and page stuff off, what happens? Creating renders. Oh, okay, doesn't like that. Where does one get that value though? I don't know. I just grabbed a value. It doesn't seem to care. It just wants to have it in there. Oh, it brought it back. Okay. What were some of the other options for that? So for communities, it looks a little different. It's the content document ID. That's for download, though. Which is what we have, right? So we can use rendition download to get images out of here. But again, our tiles, to make it generic, it's kind of, we would have to do some more work. If we do some LWC inheritance, what does that look like? I see. Okay, so we can just import. So we could make a file tile, right? That inherits. Let's try a little of that. So we just import this. Okay, so now we have everything for tile. And we would, let's see, but the front end. You can use inheritance, but it's not recommended. Okay. I wonder, could we slotify anything here? How shall we do this? Because I'm trying to think if I want to, maybe I want to override what is rendered in a tile based on what is, because we could put a tile in our but does that make any sense, really? It's telling me not to do inheritance, but I feel like I kind of wanna. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm... What I could do is... Could that work? Let's see. What if we created... excuse me. Let's say underscore title, right? And if we set... This would be API, right? Because we're going to set this from another location value. And then this dot underscore title equals value. Okay. And then if up here we say if this dot underscore title equals null, does not equal null, then we return, or we return the value that, because then I can just send stuff, right? Could we also have a slot for title? What's the, can you do a default in an, let's see, LWC slot default value? All dynamic content injection must be handled through this single slot. Well, would that be okay, though? Because what if we had... So what if we just made the slot... All right, so that's kind of like the default, but then if I pass in something different, does it get overridden? I guess we don't need to do that, right? Okay. So we put a slot in for the title. We default the HTML of that to just render the title. But if we want to appear on file tile, can we can override that. So would we do, let's see, div oh wait, we can't do it that way, right? Oh no, we can, yeah, we can render like that. So let's see, if we, because we've extended tile with file tile and we put slots in with the default values if I use tile, now can I override that? And that would also mean figuring out this, related records. So we need this to be, I mean, I could just make this a if else, right? If okay, so now we can kind of, well, let's see if this holds up first. Let's see, we're not rendering anything now. What happened? It's because of this, the slot. And we're back to where we started. What's going on? What happened? Oh, we probably don't have render component configured. Do I actually have that as a property on related records? No. That's why. Render component doesn't exist. Because I can't spell. Okay. Well, that could do it. We're going to render with tile to start. Oh. Syntax matters, people. Syntax matters. Try again. But still no. Why? Do we not API-ify it? No, it is definitely API-ified. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Did I not fill it out? Oh, that's weird. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now let's go back. Put the let's put the slot back in here. Back out here, and does it render? We are rendering the title. Okay. So now our file tile should render this instead. So if I go back in here and change the component that's being referenced. Hush child. All right, I call this file tile. Cannot read properties of undefined reading split. Oh, I probably need to pass that more parameters, right? Yeah. Well, let's leave it. And then I'll actually give it the parameters that it needs. Because it should blow up over here too. Yep. We need to pass through so it doesn't inherently inherit. It gives us access to the properties. It doesn't just make it so they flow through. So we need what gets passed into. We have access to all the values, but then I need to pass them through from tile to file tile. So what is it that we're passing it? Fields, labels, what else do we need? I think that's it. Let's see if this is happy. Nope, not happy. Oh, wait, we don't want fields. No, we just want probably record, right? Yep. We'll let the rest of it handle that. Now, what I don't know is if this is going to populate. Okay. Okay. So yes, it will populate because we're inheriting from file tile inherits from tile. Tile does all the hard work of populating this stuff. We default each of these to just whatever tile does, and then we can override from there. Okay, so this is kind of cool then. So we're going to make slots for each of these. The ID slot is kind of dumb, but we'll do something with it, I guess. What was that? This would at least make the creation of like derivatives of tile easier. This might be a great way to handle values too, because I'm still trying to figure out what to do with that, but okay. Okay, so we got tile with all the slots you can ask for. And then we've got file tile, which will do what it wants to in each of those slots. We could provide style formatting, that kind of stuff. What this doesn't do is this the no, that doesn't matter, because we're referencing these dynamically and we're just passing through and telling them this is what you're going to do. There's not much in file tile, right? Yeah, just letting it know that we're inheriting it. Unless it needs to do something, you know, interesting. So in our case, we want the link to look different. We also don't want to show the ID, so I could do this over in file tile, right? I could just say even just a span, right? Span slot equals ID and show nothing. We'll put a big giant H1 around the title, make it ridiculous. Uh-oh, what happened? Change there. We got rid of the ID, so that's cool, but it looks like we lost our title also. Oh, I guess I could just put it in the H1, right? But can I put some other markup in there with it? Yeah, it doesn't really care much for... I forgot. It doesn't care about... Well, it renders them, but doesn't style them. Let's just put it in a... just put it in a span style equals... I know I should be using something from SLD, from SLDS. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So we can override a slot with nothing to make it not display. So that's what we're doing here. We don't have anything to display for the image, so there's nothing to show there. I suppose we could put a if around each of these slots also. That if we wanted to, well, I don't know if I want to do that in the... I guess I would rather let this do everything, but then inherit it further upstream, right? Inherit and override. Think about that. But anyway, so here's our tile, and here's our file tile. Overriding the ID slot, overriding the title slot. So now I could override the link slot, right? That's the kind of the goal here. So I want my, well, actually, before we do that, let's override the image slot, because that's something that we can, I think we can get that rendition download thing going, right? So in file tile, we can create a so we can override, can we override this? Mixin is also an option. We'll come back to that another time. Which I interpret as like multiple inheritance, right? I guess let's see if I can just override it. So instead of, let's see, what were my links for? Rendition download. Okay, so we're gonna hopefully override the image getter. We still have our record. And that's going to be, oh, this is the latest content version ID, right? Which I don't know if we have. I don't know if we get that back. Does it come back automatically with... Does it come back automatically with the, when we query out? Oh, where'd you go? When we query this out, do we get the ID back automatically? I guess that's what we can find out, right? If not, I'll add it to the... The next question will be, if I override this here, but it's being referenced here, do I have to indicate the slot that it should be used in? I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try without that for a second and see what happens. I also don't know if that link's actually going to work. There's a couple layers of broken here that we could end up with. Okay, so nothing in the image here. Let's just output it in file tile somewhere. Just put it out here somewhere. Because that might mean we need to... We're not truly overriding the... There's got to be a way to do that, though, right? Okay, let's... oh, am I not returning anything? Oh, I am returning something. So let's go look and see what it's doing. Where are you? File tile... Image? No, there's nothing in there. We gotta go up here, I think. Here. Not even getting called. Okay. So... Interesting. Not even getting called. Why is that? Coding the same class. Give it the same name and parameters as the method in the superclass. Well, we're doing that, but it don't like that. I'm not getting any errors either. It's not even hitting it. Hitting the debugger. Does it hit it in tile? Let's see. Let's see. It does hit it in tile. Because we're inside. Because we're inside tile? It's got to be it. Now, if I call this file image, then what happens? Hmm. Oh, but I'm not passing that into a slot, right? I'm trying to pass it something that doesn't exist. That could also be the reason why the other thing wasn't working. Why is that being weird? Oh. So let's pass this in, because I'm inside the tile component. I'm going to pass this into the tile slot. Maybe. And I should get a big nasty URL out of here. Yes, and I do. Okay, that was the problem. If I put that outside of the component, it would have worked. Now let's go back to calling this just plain old image. And see if we're truly overriding the method now. Looks like the answer is yes. Okay. Okay, so if we want to override one of those properties... Oh, now here's the... Okay, hold on. What if we don't... What if we do that, but then we don't override the image? Right? Does it fall back to just using the slot that was defined for image? Because over here, we're saying yo show the image. So the magic sauce here would be if it still renders the URL by way of overriding... I'm sorry, it still renders value in the image by way of overriding the actual image itself. I don't know that we would do that. Like, we're going to have some other markup in here, but still, it would be a way to impact the base component without touching the slot. Drum roll. It does not. So sad. Wump wump. Okay, so at least we know we have to... And again, I could put it outside, I think. Maybe? Let's see. Let's see what this does. What if it's outside a slot on the component? That does work. Okay. So I have an image. I have my own image property that I'm just inheriting from tile. But in reality, I'm just writing my own at this point, so it doesn't exist. So you can... Well, I guess the other thing we could do, right, is say... We could do this too, right? We could say connect the callback. We could set the value here. Right? This dot image equals this thing. So that's another option. I think we could do that. The only thing we don't have, though, is a setter on the image. So it might have to be like this dot record. No, we don't want to do that. Yeah, but this is not... So this is just inheriting the property. It's not... I don't know. Let's see what it does. The thing is, we don't have a way of setting image, so I think this probably won't work. Yeah, it's just getters. There's no setter for any of our properties. This is probably not a scenario I would want to ever do anyway, because if I'm just going to override the value, I might as well override the slot. Yeah. Not happy. So don't do that. So we can certainly override that, and I don't know if that's even rendering all the data that we need. Oops. Okay, wait a second. I thought that one worked. There it goes. Okay. It does have the right value, so we didn't have to query that back out. So can we put that in the image tag? And then... Hey, there it goes. Okay, well. So not quite back in Speerdecks yet, but we've got some stuff in here. I got a couple of... Paint face is not, you can't do that in Salesforce. It's another goofy thing that I do. Yeah, we got this. We got images to render from the content that we're uploading, so we can, and I think we can get the first page of a deck. So hopefully you'll be able to take this and move it over to Experience Builder, and it'll show what we need it to show. We have to figure out how to upload new versions of stuff, and lots of other stuff. But this is good. This is good. I'm happy with this. We can do some styling and tiling and other words. But for now, 2 o'clock, show's over. Thanks for coming. And we'll be back at this next week. And then after that, we're taking a break. We're taking a summer break from, you can't add that on Salesforce, from basically this 4th of July for 3 weeks, going on vacation, and so will the show. So thanks for hanging out. See you next week. I'm Tom. You can't do that on Salesforce, or can you?